welcome to episode 15 of aMAYzing Places. Today we're here at King's Rope Saddlery, and I'm with Ryan, and he's going to give us a little tour of the museum to start us off.
Yep. Hi, how you doing? I'm Ryan King. This is the Don King Western Museum. In front of me right here is like one of the last saddles my grandfather built. It's an old Mother Hubbard saddle, so it's got one skirt, solid skirt that you could remove if you needed to. But yeah, so it's a pretty intricate saddle.
Yeah.
Yeah, several hundred hours into that saddle. So anyhow, yeah. So we're in the museum. This one was we opened this up in about 1991. We only had probably about 200 saddles at the time. Then we have about 550 in here now. A lot of some of the older saddles that we have along here are right when you come in. This is kind of what everybody came from the East Coast discovering the West on. So these are like mid-1800s saddles. A lot of those, you know. But there's looking around here, you got tons of firearms, a lot of Indian stuff. The pair of pants up there, those were John Wayne's pants in the movie Red River.
Right up there.
By the bear there.
I did not know that. That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
I walked through here several times.
So we got, there's most of these saddles in here are, well, a lot of them are Wyoming made, but like all these were my grandfather's that he'd made. This is one of his earlier ones, mid-40s, 46, 47. That's about when he moved back here, and he was working at the Ernst Saddlery and Rudy Mudra's and whatnot during those years, and then he decided to do a lot of work at home, building saddles, tack, etc. And basically, I don't know, in the mid to late 50s, he got picked up to do the championship saddles for the NFR, basically.
Oh, wow.
Now,
I did not know.
which was the RCA back then, but he did that for about 4 or 5 years, and that's kind of where he got his name put on the map or put out there. And then when we decided in '61 when he quit doing that, he opened up the saddle shop here. So it was originally across the street behind where the Ritz Sporting Goods used to be.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See,
and,
I didn't know that.
Most
people didn't.
I think it was there for about 5-6 years, and then we bought this front store that is up front there, and all the ropes and everything where you met me earlier today was where we used to twist ropes, stamp leather, so it was people stacked on top of people down there. But then we built this shop in '72, and yeah, just kind of been cracking at it since. So
Yeah, it's awesome. It's become
bought the
real.
old,
So
yeah, bought the old Bentley's building, kind of expanded the dish stuff and all that. I don't know, there's a ton of different stuff in here. This is my uncle's saddle, his bronc riding saddle. In '70 and '71, he was high school finals champion, all-around champion 2 years in a row, and that hadn't been done until about 6 or 8 years ago. A kid finally did it again.
Wow.
So
that's crazy.
yeah, he was a good cowboy.
Clearly.
Yeah. I don't know. You look around. There's tons of rough stock pictures. This Indian America. A lot of polo stuff over here. Upstairs is kind of cool. It's watch your heels. If you've ever, like, as a kid, ever got a candy leather kit or something like that, this is the workbench and workshop basically of Alan and Stolman, which basically wrote all the books for doing leather work and stuff. You see them on the back wall there. A lot of the.
I have the Sheridan one. They're actually like the Sheridan.
Sure. Yeah, and these were like my grandfather's tools. He also built tools. It's kind of like a hobby or side business. Back in, like when he retired. So my middle brother, he now makes tools, and he was working here. Kind of started building tools out of necessity, and now he's an international icon in the tool industry. So
yeah, that's pretty neat.
Yeah, so and this shop's across town here. So, but yeah, this is kind of cool. All these original drawings and stuff that were later turned into pages of instruction books and things like that, and how-tos. And he was really ahead of his time and not really recognized for what he did at the time. Because I mean, he was an amazing painter, leather carver.
Well, you see a lot more of like the actual art now.
Yeah, the figure carving. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was amazing at figure carving. And he's also a silversmith. So you see some of the stuff he did. I mean, stuff like that. It takes a good few years to learn how to do that.
Yeah.
But, and I still reference a lot of these books myself today. So, you know, it's pretty amazing what he did.
Yeah.
A lot of pictures from Eaton's Ranch. This is where my grandparents met. My grandfather was a wrangler, and my grandmother was a dude. So they used to come out here every summer, and yeah, that's where they met. And she used to be part of the Martini Club. A little diorama of the ranch there.
What a cute love story.
Yeah. Yeah, her family was pretty well to do, and he was, you know, a broke cowboy, and so she
Match made in heaven.
yeah. Yeah, she was down at college at Arizona State, and he was riding through on a train and met her, and I think they got married that afternoon, and then took off, you know, down to Florida and all that stuff after
Wow.
that. So he was stationed out of Florida for a little while.
Well, when you know, you know.
But a lot of old leather working tools. You know, just catalog a lot of different stuff. Good.
You guys get a lot of visitors in here during summer.
Yes, it's a major destination for a lot of tourists here. And since they've started opening stuff back up, we're starting to see some foot traffic back in here, which is nice. So, I don't know, I always love the war clubs and stuff like that, you know. Peace pipes always makes me wonder what living life like that was like.
Yeah, definitely.
State record book for a full 2 career that he found while sitting on a hillside smoking a cigarette.
There's over here. There's Buffalo Bills Pistons. That he, I think, was rumored to have shot a couple Indians with, but who knows?
Hello, Ryan.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, how are you, Mark?
Good. Good to see you.
Yeah, how's things?
Good. Good. Yeah.
Good deal.
So, just doing a little tour of the
Perfect.
museum. So.
Yeah, hey,
Or-
I'll probably be in here for a week or so.
That's fine.
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. The horse-drawn hearse.
Could you imagine riding one of those?
A little rough, but
Yeah. I can imagine they were much fun to ride, you know, or the old sheep wagon. Stuff like
my
that.
grandma was born and raised in a sheep wagon. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, that's awesome. A lot of these guns, these came from a collection, a local guy. I believe a lot of these they're a bunch of European guns, and they came over. You know, a lot of the guns over there were destroyed, so there's not a whole lot of this stuff left over. But one guy in town here had all these old pistols and stuff, which are pretty. There's a lot of some rare ones in there.
Well,
but,
yeah, I've never actually. I don't think I've ever seen one like that in person. Now
Yeah.
that I think about it.
But yeah, it's I don't know. It's just kind of cool to have stuff like that here.
Definitely. Pretty awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. There's stuff all around this thing.
One thing I always notice is the big snake on top.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You ever see the 3-horned?
I have, yeah. Sounds pretty crazy.
Yeah, the 2-headed calf.
So basically, people just need to come check it out because
Yeah.
there's so
If
much.
you've never been, then it's a sight to see.
Yeah, if you love it, then you'll be in here for hours. So,
I think there's something for everyone.
We're good to go.
Oh, we're
Off the
ready.
road, get twisted up.
All right. What we do, we start out with one thread, actually 7 threads. This is a nylon polyester thread. There's actually it's a 3-ply thread. There's actually 3 pieces in there. I start with 7 of those, double it over. So there's actually 14 threads in each one of the strands. That's how we get the diameter of the rope, which is how big around the rope's going to be. Started out at 72 feet. This rope will be 45 foot long when we're done. We're going to start twisting on that end down there. What I'm doing is I'm twisting all the threads into a strand. And once all those threads get to a certain point, we'll take and we'll turn the different motor, back motor on and twist all 3 of them together. This is how we get the stiffness of the rope. The amount of time that we twist these together, combined with the amount of weight that we put on in the carts, is how we get the stiffness. Yep, there's a bucket in the back. That bucket works as a counterweight. If you didn't have that on there, everybody's done it. You take a rubber band with a pencil, put it on your fingers, twist it up, go like that, and it knots together. Pull it apart, and the knots come out. If it wasn't for that counterweight, this rope would do the same thing.
Interesting.
Once I get to a certain spot here, I'll turn this back motor on and twist all 3 of them together. You can go ahead and walk on down with it if you want.
What?
Go ahead and walk on down with it if you want. Now we're twisting all 3 of them. Into one rope. Like I said, this rope will be 45 feet long. It'll be a 5/16 spool, what we call a triple extra soft. I'm still letting that back motor twist down there because on a machine twist rope like this, one end will be softer than the other, and generally it'll be the far end. We're so far away, but that is just a characteristic of a machine twist rope, is one end is softer than the other. There's a little bit of heat generated in the twisting process, which helps hold everything together, and with combined with how hard it is twisted, helps hold everything together. back weight going down back there. All lariat ropes are what we call a hard twist. Reason they're that way is so when you're swinging that rope, your loop will stay open for you. If you get into a soft twist rope like what you use for a lead rope or tie your trash down with or whatever, when you swing it, that loop will collapse. You'll see how, I don't know if you guys can see that, but those threads are really soft. Then when you come over here on the rope, that's really hard twist. I can bend it and you can see how hard and harder it is.
That's crazy.
Then, after we build so many of them, we'll go over here to the next process, which is over here against the wall. This is the wax trough. We'll heat this up to about 265 degrees, and we'll let them ropes soak in there for about 5 minutes.
That's it?
Yep, that's all it takes.
The heat helps it soak in a lot
the heat,
quicker.
Yeah.
the heat helps it suck it in, and those ropes are pretty dry, so it sucks it in pretty fast. And what this does, if you saw when I bent that rope, that bend stayed in it. Okay, and then I had to pull it back up. What this does is that stops that from happening as bad. Gives it a little bit of body. See how that sprung back? The raw rope is still kind of, call it wiry. The wax kind of takes that away. Also helps weatherproof the rope a little bit. As you use the rope, you'll wear that wax down, you'll start breaking the fibers down. And that'll cause the rope to fuzz up, which will make the rope slow. In competition, time is money. So them guys like them ropes to be fast and snappy. But we'll rope out, we'll let them set up here, let them drip off, we'll go down and knock some bigger chunks off, set them on the floor, let them cool a little bit. Then while we're reloading the trough, we'll put about 30 ropes in at a time. Then all those are sitting, we'll take the ropes that are on the floor and we'll slap them against the floor a couple times, knock the rest of the wax off as they cool, and then we'll take and slide them out of the way and just go to the next plunge. And then our other process, what makes a king rope is our stretching, aging, and curing process. We got a big field out east of town where we do that, but we also got this room right here. This is our hot room.
Wintertime and
Wintertime.
summertime overload.
Yep, and this is where we also stretch all of our polygrass ropes, which is strictly a competition calf rope. Cannot be stretched outside because whether the water will ruin the rope or the grasshoppers eat it. So, but all those ropes in there, those are stretching.
You can walk in there.
You can walk in there. Thermostat set on 135 degrees.
You're not going to close me in here?
No.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the short beams down there. Those are polygrass ropes, the competition calf ropes. And the longer ropes that are hanging in here are all 100% nylon, which is what we generally try and stretch outside. But this time of the year, we're starting to run a little low on some of that stuff, and it takes heat to get stuff straight. So we'll stretch some of it in here to try and just speed it up.
Wow.
The stuff that's laying on the floor has already been stretched. And so, yeah, you can see how straight it's laying. Mm-hmm. The stuff that was on the floor out here, you can see how wavy it is, and you'll understand why we have to stretch it. There's stuff out here, the stuff that's laying on the floor underneath the wax trough. That just come off the coil, so now you can see why we stretch that. Makes that rope lay nice and straight. Helps step the stiffness of the rope in. And just makes it a usable product. The ropes will hang in here for about a week and a half to 2 weeks, depending on what they are. Where when we're out at the rope field, this time of year they're out there a little longer. Come July, August, they're out there for a shorter amount of time. But out at the field, in here we're stretching 28 foot to 60 foot. Out at the field, we're stretching 600-foot coils at one time.
Wow.
And then we'll take and cut them into the lengths that we need. So we can put 285 600-foot lengths up out at the rope field at once.
Oh my gosh.
Which is, I think we did the math on it one time, right around 8 miles of rope.
Wow. You guys are busy.
Yeah, we sell 30,000 ropes a year.
Yeah.
The racks upstairs only hold 17,000. So, yeah, it keeps us busy. I was telling you the polygrass, which is a very high demand rope, which is what is all in this wheel right over here. Right there. Once some ropes come out of the hot room, we'll take them, we'll lay them on the floor. We have to go through them, we have to singe them. Rub them down with a piece of burlap, singe them again, rub them down with a piece of burlap, check them. If they're not good, we'll rub them down again, singe them again. That's a piece of it right there.
Pretty fibrous, and they give you splinters in your hand.
Yep.
So.
Absolutely no stretch. And I can show you another one over there and you'll really be able to see the hairs on it. But then we'll take them upstairs, tie the knots and hondoos in them. Then those don't get waxed. They actually get treated in a linseed oil mixture. And then they get put on this wheel to dry. Also helps get the little dents and stuff out because they've been handled enough that they'll start getting dents. So that's what that's doing, is just setting them in there, helping them dry. Like I said, strictly a competition calf rope. The grass itself comes out of Africa, where it's then shipped to Portugal, where it's spun into the yarns and then into the coils of rope. And when we get them, they're about 100-pound coils, 1,100 foot long. So then we'll cut them to 28 footers and hang them up and go through the process. A rope costs $65. Where your typical team rope and rope starts out at $35. But yeah, we'll go over here and I'll show you what they look like after they come out of the hot room.
A lot of labor.
Yeah, they're very labor intensive. There's only, as far as I know, there's only 3 companies in the United States that actually builds and sells the polygrass rope.
Polycore in the inside of the rope there to keep it from, if it were just straight grass it would snap, but it's got a polycore that keeps it from breaking, but takes the stretch down to almost nothing, being the grass.
But you can see all the little hairs and stuff in there. That's why we have to singe them off. But that's what they look like when they come out of the hot room. See how they're laying nice and straight. But that's what makes king rope a king rope, is their stretching, aging, and curing process. We're the only ones to do that. Everybody else says they put a stretch on their ropes, but it's when they're doing it, they take it right out of the wax. They set it on a deal while it's cooling, and they'll pull it tight. They'll maybe pop them, and they call that stretched. So,
Interesting.
where we actually put the age and stuff into. Any questions from you two?
Yasha, I got any questions?
You guys want to explain how you make the buoy?
The hondu?
Yeah.
We'll do that upstairs. No questions from the youngsters?
Not at the moment.
Something else I'm going to show you real quick while we're down here. I love doing this with people. This is one of my favorite things to do. These 2 ropes right here are made out of, on that machine over there, made out of the exact same material. Everything's done right. They're both 5/16 full, 60-foot, triple extra sauce, but there is a major difference in them. I don't know if anybody can see that. You're looking pretty hard.
I don't know though. I couldn't tell you what it is, but
Look
like
at the
you can
twist.
see a
This
difference.
is a right-handed rope. This is a left-handed rope. This rope's actually twisted for a right-handed person. This one's for a left-handed person. You see how the twist? One twist is going this way.
Yeah.
The other twist is going that way.
Yeah.
Yep. This is for a lefty. Reason you do that is when you're swinging a rope left-handed, if you're swinging a right-handed rope, you're actually the rope is working against you and you're working against the rope.
Oh.
Start putting back twists in that rope. You start putting back twists in ropes, and that's when bad things start happening. You start walking around missing digits.
Make sure you have the right rope. Bottom line.
Right rope for the right job. Yeah, we'll go up here. We'll go follow right. We'll go right on back here. Hopefully, did I hear that? Yep. Cool. We're headed back here to the finishing area. So what we'll do, this is after them ropes come up from downstairs or out at the field. This is where we tie the knots and the hondoos. Sew the burners in them. Nick's tying the knots, and he's tying some chicken ropes. Some little guys.
Same knots.
Yep, exact same knot, just the one knot's called a Matthew Walker, and the other knot's a wall knot. And then it'll come over here to Gary, and he'll tie the hondo. You want to step around in front so you can. Depending on the rope, depending on how that hondo ties. Sometimes that one he's able to tie pretty straight. Some of this material he has to tie it completely upside down. And then when he pulls on it with his little tool there, that hondo will come around and lay straight. We'll snug it up, and then he'll look at it and see if it's level. He'll adjust it, and he'll give it a really solid pull. That's called the hondo.
Wow, just like that.
Just like that. And then it'll go to another guy, and we'll sew in what we call the wear leather or the burner. I'm gonna find one that's got a good stamp on it. That's what this right here is called. This is called a wear leather or burner. It's made out of rawhide. We sew that in there so when that rope slides through there, eventually it would just wear through itself. So we put that in there as a little precaution. Gives us a place to put the stiffness of the rope and our name.
Wow.
Knot tire, like I said, we sell 30,000 ropes a year. Knot tire, I'll tie somewhere right around 180 ropes a day. If Gary can sit back here and do nothing but tie hondos, he can get about 300 done in a day. And a burner tire, I'll do anywhere from about 80 to 100.
Wow.
So all these peak sheets that are hanging here are orders. We sell all over the world. I think this one's going to Weatherford, Texas. I think the one behind Ryan, is that an Australian order?
Yeah.
That one there's going to Australia. But we sell this just all over the world. We've got some places in Germany we sell to. Switzerland. Sent rope to, dealt with a guy in Tokyo, Japan, Disney Tokyo, there we go.
Some in South America.
Yeah, sent some to South America. We've sent a bunch of ropes to Russia a few years ago. Any questions?
I don't think so.
No, not getting any on your.
Are there any? Is anyone
Not at
asking
the
questions?
moment. Nope. People are just amazed.
Are we just doing kids or we
No, this is like everyone.
everyone?
All of our Facebook viewers.
All right, perfect.
But
Well, then we'll go on over here to the other side. I'll let Ryan take over, and he can. Him and Joe will help you out over there.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, this is saddle repair department, and where we make a lot of our just our straight tack, a lot of plain breast collars, head stalls, reins. Joe right now is making squat tits or buck and rolls, whatever you want to call them. So if you ride a saddle without a fork on it, you'd probably put those on there to help you squeeze with your thighs and hang on. No, there's probably some But Joe does a lot of our custom belts and things like that. So it's just people, whatever they need, knife sheaths, gun holsters, we'll do it as long as we think we can do it. But yeah, it's just kind of the repair and the new tack department. We're heavy duty sewing machines, poker press, splitters. That's about it back here. So I don't know what else you want to go see. Can you go through the front at all?
We can. Thank you. Hi, Nolan.
A lot of African stuff from the Roberts family. They used to own the Padlock Ranch back in the 50s and 60s, well up until I think the 80s when they sold off. But wasn't the 80s? PK, sorry. Well, it's now the Padlock. No. Huh? Yeah, it is. Oh. I thought it was part of it. Yeah, whatever.
There's too many.
I know. Excuse me. But they went on safari back in the 50s and stuff and shot a lot of these animals that we have here. So, yeah. Anyways. Airlock cake. Can't remember it all. Those are just our front retail store. Carry a lot of tack from other places. They don't make and sell it all, so gotta carry other people's products in here, and that's what a lot of this is. And of course, if you, yeah.
Okay, how cool do you think it is when like you go somewhere and you see someone wearing a King's Rope
I
hat,
love it.
like way across the country?
I've ran into people. I ran into a guy in an airport in Greece one time.
Yeah.
The King Rope hat. But yeah, if I see someone and I'm not in a hurry or something like that, I'll usually stop and tell them nice hat or something. And
Yeah.
Sometimes introduce myself, sometimes not.
It's just, I'm from Sheridan.
Yeah,
Nothing
exactly.
further.
I know the family. Stuff like that. But no, up here we just have a lot of some of our tooled items, silver, just whatever we have on hand, basically. So, how y'all doing?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Whoa, look at that one.
That?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a local gal start doing those for us. Upstairs we have cowboy boots and whatnot. And then over, this used to be the old Bentley's building over here, which is an old clothing store. They had Pendleton and several different brands, but we, about the early 2000 or 2003, somewhere around there, we opened this, or remodeled it and opened this shop up. So we have just a lot of our giftware, dishes. We do have a little military appreciation case kind of deal over here that we put together. So there's pretty. Just my dad and uncles and my grandfather were all served, and I'm a big part in a Warrior Foundation here in town. So it's I don't know. It's just good to. We've always sent hats to guys that were overseas and stuff like that, and a lot of these guys kind of identified over there as with their King Rope hats over there. So
Oh, that's cool.
it's pretty neat. So
Wow, that's awesome. Cool.
Yeah, so that's about all we got going on around here.
You guys got a lot going on over
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
It's a big production. Several different stores basically with all of them put together. So
Yeah. Awesome.
anyhow,
Well, what are your guys' hours if people want to stop down and see you?
Monday through Saturday, 8 to 5. So we're here.
Awesome.
Yep.
Well, awesome. Thanks for tuning in to episode 15. This was a fun one, and stay tuned for the next one. Thank you.